Hi, welcome to Holy Tea with Ellen. It is the week of September 12th is the Friday this week. Friday being the day on which this email and video are sent out to all of you. I'm going to continue to send this more broadly for a couple more weeks to bring everybody in on what we're doing, and then once we have our registrations firmed up, that list will narrow. So I hope you'll keep your eyes on this, for this being one of the main ways that we in Learning Ministries communicate what's going on. We do some email and rely on some printing in the bulletin and other church things, but mostly if you are a part of Learning Ministry, be that confirmation or church school or high school ministry or anything like that, this is how you will know what's going on in this email. So with that in mind, there's a couple things happening I want to talk about. First of all, we had our first Wednesday night church school last night, and there was some confusion about Wednesday worship. So that led me to believe that I did not do a good enough job communicating the changes, and so that's my fault, and I apologize if you were confused or alarmed or surprised. I'm going to talk a little bit about that now. So in the past, there has been worship on Wednesdays weekly, every week at 6 p.m. This fall, we are not going to do worship weekly, but rather we're going to do it on the first Wednesday of most months. The exception to that rule being Advent, which is December, the season leading up to Christmas, and Lent, which is the season leading up to Easter. During Advent and Lent, there will be weekly worship, but not every week, the remainder of the time. So the first Wednesday worship that we'll do is October 1st. Worship is at 6:15. If you're in confirmation, still come at 6 p.m. Because if you're helping with worship, you're going to be getting ready to do that with some mentors that we're excited to pair kids and mentors for worship assistant training this fall. So if you're in confirmation, it's still 6 to 8 on the first Wednesday, but we'll just worship in the middle of that time. Families are welcome to come and be a part of that worship. We'll be learning more about the small catechism. It's alongside our confirmation curriculum that also uses that as a resource. So first Wednesday, worship. Now, not to be confused with worship weeks that are a part of our church school routine. So for church school, we have 2 weeks on and 1 week off, the third week being a worship week, which means your family is encouraged and invited to find time during the week to worship. Now, maybe that means you come Sunday morning, since weekly Wednesday worship is no longer an option for that. Or maybe you stream worship later in the week from the previous Sunday, or join us online if you can't be here in person on a Sunday morning. There are 2 services on Sunday morning, 8:30 and 10. During some of the worship weeks, church school kids will sing at the 8:30 worship service. That'll be on the calendar that you received in your email. So look for that, and there will also be lots of reminders in this Holy Tea email and downstairs for those church school things about when worship week is coming, when you should be here, and when you're not. Now, we don't call it a week off because we don't hope that that's not what it is. If you're not here, we'll just assume that things came up, and we're not going to judge or keep track of whether or not you worship. We just want to give your family time to do that together. Because church school happens at the same time as worship on Sunday morning, we want to make sure that we're still inviting children into the worship space, worshiping alongside them, teaching them the sacred songs and stories of our faith in the context of worship. So that's the purpose of that. That's a lot to explain. We only have worship on Wednesdays, the first Wednesday of the month. So if you're confused about that, that's what's happening. If you have questions, let me know, or the pastors. They're happy to talk to you about that as well. So the other thing I want to highlight is that this fall we're going to be hosting some listening sessions for high school students and parents to come and talk to us about their stories of youth ministry, what partnerships they see as potential that we could partner with community organizations or other churches for some ministry with high school kids, and help us lean into the future of youth ministry here at Holy Trinity Lutheran Church. We've been in kind of a lull trying to figure out what that is, and we're now wanting to gather people for a conversation. So if you're in high school or parents of a high school student, please take an opportunity to come to one of 3 sessions. There was an email that was sent with those details. It'll be printed in the bulletin and the epistle, and there'll be a postcard coming, so you should have access to those dates. The first one, I believe, is September 28th, which is a Sunday, and that is at 11 a.m. I'm going to double check that. Yes, Sunday, September 28th at 11 a.m. is the first of those three. You don't need to come to all three, just come to one. And if you can, please RSVP, because we hope to have food at those gatherings to join in some fellowship, but ahead of like more structured conversations. Do plan on 90 minutes for this session. We want to make sure we take the time we need to hear from people. So it's myself and 4 council people are leading these listening sessions. So that's kind of what we're doing this fall for high school. I hope that you'll be a part of that. That's all I want to say for today. Thank you for tuning in. Blessings on your week in the coming days. And I hope you find time for rest and to be still and know that God is real and God is with you.